welcome to my channel. No actors, no crew, no problem. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can shoot your own film with just you. And it's actually much easier than you may think. Firstly, keep the story simple. You want to look at a story that's roughly 2 to 5 minutes, but you need to keep it simple. Not lots of locations, not lots of characters, just one character, one actor, and ideally just one location. So, for example, when I did my story remote, I used my apartment. The reason I used my apartment was that I could control the environment. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that there was no outside influences. I didn't have to worry about people walking past. I didn't have to worry about my camera being stolen because obviously I might have placed it down. And then I'm over here 20 feet away filming myself and someone comes back and steals it. I was able to control the environment. I'm able to control the lighting and things like that. So make sure your location is controllable. When it came to the story, I took a simple idea of often people misplace things. Often we misplace our remote control. And I created a narrative around me unable to find remote control, searching for it, and then eventually finding it at the end. But I did have a little bit of a twist as well. And people can resonate with that. So keep the story simple. 2, gear. When it comes to filming, you can film on a mobile phone. Mobile phones create some great images. But you need to think about 3 elements when it comes to filming. 3 main elements. 1 is the image or the footage. 2 is the sound. And 3 is the lighting. Okay, so number 3, you are your own crew. You are the camera person, you are the sound person, you are the director, you are set design, you are lighting. And that might seem a little bit overwhelming, but actually there are many advantages to that. One main advantage is that you only have yourself to worry about, nobody else. So you can take your time. So do that. Take your time. So when it comes to shooting, how are you going to film yourself and be behind the camera at the same time? You can't physically do that. But there are 2 main ways that you can manage that process. You might be able to use your mobile phone that you can link to your camera so that you can view what your camera's looking at, or you might have a monitor. If you don't have either of those things, then quite simply set up the shot, frame it, get into the frame after you've pressed record, and then go back out and have a look and see where that frame is and whether that's going to fit with what you are trying to achieve. If it doesn't, adjust accordingly, press the record again, back in, and keep checking. Now, do it like you would if you were doing some carpentry. They always say that you should measure twice, cut once. So when it comes to filmmaking on your own, you want to make sure that you keep checking. So for example, you've got your frame, you're happy with your frame, check it a second time. Double check it, treble check it before you start to record that scene. That will save you a lot of time and a lot of trouble in the long run. Sound. When it comes to sound, you want to get that microphone as close to your subject, which is you, as possible. Not again. That's it. I've had enough. Week in, week out, I keep losing my remote control. How are you going to do that? Well, what you need to think about is the item that you're going to be using to record the sound and whether you could potentially hide that. Great way that you could do is if you've got a lapel, for example, and you're shooting from the front, a close-up, you might be able to put the lapel behind so that it's out of sight, but it's reasonably close to the mouth. If you've got a boom mic and you're shooting a tight shot, you'll be able to put the boom as close as possible. And the great thing is with self-shooting, it's likely that there isn't that much dialogue. There might be some voiceover, whatever, but in terms of dialogue to the camera, there might be very little. So you might be able to get really good sound in a close-up, but you want to use it in the wide. And because it's only 2 or 3 words, you're able to just use that as a dub over for the wide shot. When it comes to lighting, make use of the lighting that you've got, whether it's you've got your own lighting or whether you're making use of resources within the house, for example. You might have some lamps, or if you're shooting during the day, you might need to shoot near a window. You have to think about all these elements of filmmaking. So it brings me on to number 4, shoot smart. What do I mean by shoot smart? Keep it simple again. Do a wide shot, do a medium shot, do a close-up. At least you cover those angles. But also start to try and think creatively. By shooting creatively, you are going to help drive the story forward and keep the interest for the audience. So when I shot The Caller, that's a 42-minute feature film. It counts as a feature film because it's over 40 minutes. I did that all on my own, no crew. And I actually had 2 or 3 characters in that. And I'll go on in future videos about how I managed to do that. But when it came to The Caller, I actually used creative shots to help drive the story forward. And obviously be different to just some static shots all the time. Again, I'll tell you how to do that in future videos. So when it comes to shots, keep it simple, but think creative. Okay, and finally, edit for impact. What do I mean by edit for impact? Well, when it comes to a story or it comes to a short film, it goes through 3 different processes. You write the story or the script, you then film it, and when you come to filming it, it might be slightly different to the script because of some scenarios that you've come up against. And then when you come to the edit again, it may change again due to the fact that you haven't got all the footage that you wanted. But the great thing about shooting your own film and being the crew and the actor is you can think about the edit earlier on in terms of your shots and how you want that story to be shown. So those are the 5 tips in terms of shooting on your own. The best advice I can give you is take your time, practice. Remember the bit when I said about measure twice, cut once. Make sure you get your framing done. Make sure you're happy before you press that record. And practice. Self-shooting is a great way to hone those skills and to help you to overcome problems when it comes to filming. Because when you're with a big crew, you are going to have problems. And you'll have the mindset of, I can do this. If you can shoot a film on your own, you can work with a crew. So, go forth, get your camera out, think of a simple idea, and shoot your own self-film. I'd love to find out how you get on. Drop some notes in the comments if you've managed to do that. Send me some links, and yeah, just do it. Anyway, I hope to see you in some future videos, and thanks for watching.